Hi there everyone, it is currently the 17th of January 2012 out here in the Western Pacific. Today we're going to be looking at a few areas. First and foremost, we're talking about snow still out here in Japan, actually some very heavy accumulation, so we'll get that into a second. But also we're looking at the Philippines where there's still actually some flooding going on across much of Visayas and Mindanao. And actually if we pull up this trim satellite picture right in here, just showing the tropical rainfall measurement system, it is showing there is some areas here in southern Visayas actually being indicated in red. And all those areas in red indicate that the ground is already saturated, so any more rainfall in that area is definitely going to pose the threat of some more flooding across those areas still recovering from tropical storm Washi out there. But also we have continued cold temperatures dipping towards the south. We'll get that near the end of the video, but first let's talk more about the Philippines here and about how that rainfall is continuing to affect the region. And if we look out here across much of the visible imagery right now, central Visayas is getting a little break in the rainfall. There is a few areas of cloud tops out here, but overall a slight break. But if we pull back on the picture here and look at the rest of the Western Pacific, you can see that there is another surge of energy forming up here just south of Plow. Now we're expecting that to continue to push off towards the west. So by midweek out here in the Philippines, you could be seeing some more rain showers out there. And actually today is Tuesday, so I'm talking about by Wednesday into Thursday and even into Friday, some more rain is being expected out here. And actually first let's pull up the GFS model real quick and let's talk about the Philippines and how that surge of energy is going to affect them. And here we're starting off by Tuesday here. We are seeing those rain showers over northern Luzon, so this model is initializing fairly good. But then we look into Wednesday into Thursday. You see that energy continuing to push onshore. So Mindanao on Thursday and into Friday looks like you're going to get another shot of heavy rain showers. So like I stated earlier, that is going to affect the recovery efforts down there. Could damper it a little bit. And definitely some of those low-lying areas where that still do have poor drainage or the ground is already saturated, that's where you're going to be seeing the highest potential of flooding. And not only flooding, but the risk of landslides and mudslides is definitely still there, as a lot of the ground is even loose in the entire region. So if I lived in this area anywhere from Visayas down to Mindanao, I would definitely get prepared for this oncoming next surge of energy and convection here. And actually this is just looking at the last 24 hours here, just showing about 70 millimeters of rainfall being reported there in central Visayas, and that's why those areas in here are also being indicated in red. But let's look a little bit farther towards the north here, southern Ryukyu Islands. We are seeing that stationary boundary we were talking about yesterday, and this is actually producing about 62 millimeters of rainfall there along the Ryukyu Islands. This is actually just northeast of Okinawa here, and that's due to this boundary. And if we look at the surface analysis out here, you can see that actually this area of low pressure is being depicted here just south, or actually right around Iwito. Off towards the west, though, you still have some cloud cover there around Okinawa and the Ryukyu Islands, but it looks like it's starting to clear up as the high pressure pushes in towards the southeast. But with that, actually the first thing I mentioned on this update today is that snow out here in Japan and some very heavy accumulations. Actually, all this area here in green indicated along the western portions of Hokkaido, well, that's actually snowfall being reported due to that ocean effect snow, that cold air pouring across the Sea of Japan. And this is the hindcast from the past 7 days, just showing the snowfall continuing to build up here, so upwards of about 50 centimeters in certain locations out across much of central Honshu, extending up towards Sapporo and much of Hokkaido here. And actually this is very welcomed up there towards the north. They're very used to the snowfall out here and actually really do expect it and anticipate it every year, as you have one of the biggest ice and snow festivals out there in Sapporo, basically the capital of Hokkaido up there towards the north. But out here across the the eastern portions of Honshu, it looks like a lot of it dissipates out here. Actually here in the Kanto Plain, most of it ends up being virga. The only snowfall you really do see is mountain blow off that might come off some of the mountains up here. But overall, most of it evaporates before hitting the ground. And actually this clip here I took a few days ago was just some of that virga continuing to drop out of the clouds, but usually by the time it gets to a few hundred feet it dissipates. So with that said, let's actually look at the temperatures here for the past couple days. And if we look out here across much of Japan, you are seeing these temperatures. Now remember, this is all in Fahrenheit, right about freezing just north of the Kanto Plain. Over towards Korea, most of it actually is below freezing out here. Remember, freezing is 32 degrees on the Fahrenheit scale, so about 0 on similar on Celsius if you're not familiar with the Fahrenheit scale. But as we dig down here towards the Philippines and much of the tropics, you still have these temperatures fairly warm out here in the 70s and 80s on the Fahrenheit scale, so still definitely tropical weather once you get north of that polar front jet, where that stationary boundary is actually located right in this region here. Those temperatures really do drop off and get well below freezing, especially off towards the north here. Look at these temperatures around Ulaanbaatar. Definitely very cold out there, negative 20s to negative teens out there, so very, very cold temperatures. But that is all for right now, everybody. I hope you did enjoy today's update. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, I always do really welcome those. So if I'm not covering your specific area out here, please let me know, and I'll make sure to work those into the updates as well. But thanks again for watching. Please stay safe out there, everybody. Have a great day.